Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this March the 26th, March the 25th, skipping ahead, 2025, noontime update. And as promised, we're going to get into some of those Jabroni Killer members' requests for coins. And I wanted to thank my new members of Jabroni Killers. It's in the video description and or the pinned comment. It's an industry cheap and best value of $3.99 a month to Astro Music, Joel Raymond, Stephen G., and Camille Medan, sorry, butchering your name, and the rest of my Jabroni Killer members, Tang, Trading with Jay, Ripper, Robert Vila, Michael F., Wim Williams, and the rest of you. This channel is what it is, and the content of bringing back truth, education, information, and trust is all because of you guys. And if you want to become members of Jabroni Killers to support the channel to keep these daily videos coming out for free,
a good question is,
nobody cares about you, buddy. Is hit that join button or the video description below you see at Vincenzo's Jabroni Killers. Just click that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button too so you don't miss any of my content. And it's what helps make the channel grow and helps make the channel what it is today is by you guys being involved. And the rest of it, right? And very appreciative and much love. Peace and love, Jay, to all of you. And with a current, Jay, the current temperature is 41 degrees, Jay. And if we look at what some of these requests were, hopefully it doesn't make me not be able to find AVAX. So that's the first one. And that's from Steve 4720. AVAX. I would love to do AVAX. Let's take a look at this. If I can find it, there's so many of these coins. It's just crazy. Excuse me. I believe it's this one. All right. I got too many coins on here. Let's just get into here. AVAX. I feel like I've heard of this one before. Maybe, potentially. But there's just so many of these coins. Ooh. Somebody got fleece heisted and shisted. Let's take a look at this. We got to do this quick though. I don't have a lot of time. I'm on my lunch break. So I always start, could be a free class for you right here. I always start by putting the VIX volume profile. Then I go in with my rectangle and I find the mean of the volume, which is right here. You can see the biggest candlestick of volume. And then I like to draw that out. And we'll make that a light blue and we'll lock that. So now we have the mean of the volume there, and you can see what's been going on with the coin. It looks like it came out, at least on this chart, back in late 2023, had the double top big pump, and it's been consistently down since then. Now we want to get into the daily time frame, and we got the moving averages. So you can see back here, we had the golden bear's cross, right? Way back here. In early February, so about a month and a half ago. And now you can see we've come up off our recent bounce, and I'm assuming this is why we want to have some price action updates on it. We're sitting there at the 50-day moving average in the daily, and then we have the 100-day moving average just above that in the blue, and then we have the 200-day just above that. Let's clone that. Bam. Now we have our moving averages up there in the daily time frame, and we're coming up, and what's conveniently enough about this is at the bottom part of this blue support and resistance zone, which starts the mean of the volume, right? And that's very important. And what I'd be looking at now, even though the volume's slightly declining still, turn the heat down a little bit, we can see what I would be looking at now in the immediate short term in AVAX is coming up here. Do we initially get rejected and then we trade back down and then hold the shorter term moving averages in the hour time frame and then scoot above the $23 and hold this bottom part of this blue resistance box and support box? And if you can do that and hold that, you can start to trade up and get kind of bullish, right? Like that. Or what's going to happen, that's scenario A, the bullish scenario. Or scenario B is you're going to come up into here, and then you're going to get rejected by this right here, and you're going to come all the way back down to the underneath double bottom down there, sitting there at about $15. So that would be scenario B, right? That'd be scenario B right there. And that would be something that I'm looking for. Those are your two scenarios in the short term for AVAX. Is can you get back above the 50-day moving average and above that blue support and resistance box and try to hold that to get some short-term bullish action. Or if you get rejected, you're likely to come down here to the most recent low, which was $15 and change. So we'll pay attention for that the next few days. But you're going to have some wild price action as we run up into that major support level. Thank you, Steven4720 for the comment and being a member of Jabroni Killers. The same as, I forgot what he said his name means. Peace and love to you, my man. Love your updates, brother. I appreciate you being members of Jabroni Killers. Can you peep QUANT and possibly SHX? We have QUANT on our thing, but we're going to need to look for SHX. SHX coin. Stronghold, I believe. SHX USD, I believe, is what you want. And if we take a look at this, ooh, this one's been not pretty too. Oh, we've actually looked at this coin before. Oh, this is one that came back to a new high back with the Trump rally. Wow, somebody made a fortune off this coin, and congratulations to anybody that stuck this out because it had a 5x move from top to bottom, and then it hit the major. Did it break an all-time? It did break an all-time high, and then it broke down. And okay, so when we were looking at this, it was probably up in here when somebody brought it to me. And now you can see you've had the bearish cross from the last time we looked at it. We're about to have a golden bearish cross in this, where we have the 100-day sitting at 0.011, the 50 at 0.0110, and then the 200-day at 0.01. It's still do not want to buy you, son. We're going to have a golden bearish cross. We're still up a couple X from the bottom. But what I would be looking at right now in the short term is this to run up into the conglomerate of moving averages. And I think these descending moving averages are going to be too much sell pressure. And I think we're going to do something like that. And unfortunately, which we'll pay attention to this, I think we're going to come down here. I think that's your next big move to the downside and your next big chance for a major buy opportunity. At least in my own personal opinion, I am not a financial advisor. I think we're going to trade maybe back up into these moving averages here in the shorter term. And then I think we're going to get rejected by the bearish, golden bearish cross that's about to happen. And I think we're going to trade down closer to that 0.005217 here in the short term. But we're going to pay attention for this, and we're going to keep following this coin closely for my member of Jabroni Killers. Remind me every so often if you don't see it within a day or two, because there's so many coins on here I forget to put all the coins in because I only have so much time. I am working my full-time job. I am working a after-work part-time job to make extra money, and I do this on the side too. So I have lots of things going on, right? So there's not always time for me to do all these every day, but then sometimes because there's so many of them, I forget. You can see here we're about to have a cross, or we did have the cross now of the 100-day moving average is now below the 200-day. We can see we did meet our target on a wick, 2 wicks down at $69.13. And from there, we thought we might have a little rally as we drew out. And we're still in this uptrend from about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, about a week ago. Last Tuesday, I believe the 11th was. And we thought maybe we could retrace up as high as near the 50-day moving average in the daily and the bottom part of this red resistance box. So that's what I'm going to watch in the short term for a continued trade up in the next few days and maybe touch that $86.66. And then we'll see what usually happens is you get a slight rejection when you come up against a major resistance zone, the same as when this came down. We wicked down, but then we got a slight bounce. See that? Because it was coming from above it, so it acted as support, and then we traded through it. Now coming back on it for the first time, I would expect a rejection up there And something that you could see is after you hit it, you might trade back down into that area. So the blue is where I think, looks like we've been watching the last few days, maybe a retest of that 86.66. But then I think the overhead moving averages might force you back down to that $69 for a double bottom, right? So that's what we're going to be watching out for there in the quant. Yeah, the old fucking quant, Vincenzo, right? You can see we're having a nice pump in DGB, something that we were looking at the last couple of days. We'll see the volume, though, if you notice this quickly, when we had this spike right here, the volume wasn't overwhelming, and it let us know it was going to trade back to the downside, and it did. And you can see we're above the 50-day moving average now in the daily. We're wicked on the 100-day and the 200-day, and if we zoom in a little bit closer into, say, the 3-hour time frame, you can see we're consolidating now just below those two longer-term moving averages and just above the short-term moving average. And you can see the 3-hour spike in volume here that had our last little run-up. Now what you want to watch is to see after the sell volume, the consolidation, is there any more buy volume now after the next day or two where the candlesticks, and then we spike back up with the volume like that. And if we do, you could see some follow-through here. And if we do get some follow-through here with some volume off this consolidation, you could see your next move to the upside in the short term. Well, we don't want that one. Delete that. You could see your next move in the short term have a technical move like this to the breakout, and you could come up to here, right? And we'll put a little star up there so we can monitor it, or a price note. We're going to clone that. We're going to move that over. You could come up as high as 0.01067 in the short term if we can get some follow through after this consolidation, and that would bring us just below that last major spike that we had in early March right there, and it would bring us in within that range. And that's something that I'm watching out for on the top end potential. You can see we've increased the volume. Still don't want to buy you. We've increased the volume 2 straight days in a row. So I'd be looking at an upside target this week of 0.01067. On any kind of rejection by these moving averages, I would be looking at a retest of this horizontal from left to right resistance level there in red, right? So right now in the short term, we're going to watch to see if we can't break out of this consolidation. We'll see if we can make it 3 straight days in a row with volume peaking up right there, which would signal the potential breakout to the upside to this target, which could have a nice percentage move from current price. I think the red dots are current price. That could be another 13 to 15% to the upside to our next short-term target. So we're going to be watching out, especially for that. We see the ALGO has done what we thought it was going to do. It's continuing that short-term bounce. And you can see we've had the golden bearish cross. But you can see when the price action was back here with the first mover advantage, and another reason to become members of Jabroni Killers and subscribe to the channel with the power of it, we had our target down here at 17 cents. And then we said we could swing all the way back up here to that 23 cents. And then the overhead moving averages might force you back down. And if that was the case, your next underneath target would be down there at 10 cents, right? You can see that beautifully. And look what's happened ever since we've made a few bottoms right here on that major support level at 17, 18 cents. We've had a nice bounce now for the last week to 10 days. And now we're sitting up here at about a 2.5-week high. At current price, we're at about 21 cents. So we're still looking to see, and we're still thinking that we could come up to the bottom part of this red trading zone. And as you do know, when you're coming from underneath something at it, it acts as resistance. When you're coming from above it to below it, it acts as support, right? So that's why we're thinking when you come up and touch this initially, it's going to act as resistance and you might sell off. And that's something that we're going to continue to follow. But the thing is going according to plan. Let's get in as my time's vastly running out here. Let's look at the XRP real quick, see if it's making another run towards that $2.55 level. We looked at this a little bit this morning. We'll move these moving averages. We still have not, this is one of the coins that we follow that have not had the bearish cross. You can see the 200 still moving in. The price is starting to tighten with the moving averages. We thought we could get as high as the $2.55 level. We're sitting here just on to 50-day moving average in the daily time frame. And if we look at the hour time frame, you can see we've stagnated out and we're holding support on that $2.44 level. There's a max potential this week, I believe, of somewhere around the 256 level, this overhead resistance, and then I think you would trade back down initially to the 100-day moving average at $2.31. Thank you for watching this update. Our road to 10,000 subscribers and subs start with you. Members of Jabroni Killers are vastly gaining more and more of you to help spread the message and support the channel, and my deepest gratitude and me saying peace and love is how I appreciate your support. And this channel would be nothing without all of you. Until tonight's nightly update, which is going to be late because I probably won't be home till 9 o'clock. We leave the house at 6:30 in the morning and we don't get home till about 8 or 9 at night. So just be patient, but that's why I'm trying to make sure I get you a morning video and a lunchtime update. Peace and love. The Rexite Route J.